Okay, I'm not quite sure what happened, but we will pick up where we left off. Hopefully you've come back and you've found me. I apologize for that. I'm not quite sure what happened. What is going on? Are we there? I think we are. Someone comments, let me know if you can see me, if I'm here. I'm not quite sure what is happening tonight. Let me know, Tracy, let me know if you can see me. I don't know why it keeps dropping. Let me know if you're live, if you can see me. I'm not seeing comments. Hopefully it's holding. I'm not seeing comments. Someone give me a thumbs up or say hello. I am not sure what is happening. You see me? Okay, thank you, Tracy. All right, so hopefully we're intact. Now, when I move my camera down, I'm not going to be able to see comments. So I don't know what is happening. But if you comment, which I appreciate and hope you do, I will go back and respond to all of those right afterwards. So as soon as I put the camera down, I won't be able to see them. And I don't know what's going on today. All right. Well, we are going to continue. And I apologize. I will make sure and post both parts. In fact, I already posted part 1. Thank you. And make sure you comment, say hello. Let me know you're here. And I will put your name into the drawing. Hi, Nancy. Thank you. You're welcome back to you too. I don't know what happened. That was just the craziest thing. But I cannot see comments on my laptop. And that's so annoying. Let me go a different way. So I'm still live here. So let's try one more time. And if I can't see them, then no, it keeps saying reload the page. Okay. Hi, Linda. Here's what I'm going to do. We're just going to keep going. Okay. Like I said, comment, say hello. Let me know you're here so I can put your name in the drawing for tonight's project. Hi, Linda McFarland. And I will go back and comment and respond to everyone after the fact. Because once I put my camera down, I'm not going to be able to see the comments. So I have the names of everyone who commented on my last live. This was the card that we did. Looks like this with our belly band. I love how you can use your designer series paper up to make this. So it's like that and like that. Okay, and I know it's backwards and I'm sorry. I am going to figure out how to go live on YouTube and stream over here so we can fix that. I have got to get that figured out sooner than later, right? Okay, let's see who is going to get that. So that is going to go to Tammy Masterson. So Tammy, I will get that ready for you. And then if you share, which I hope you do, please type the word shared in all capital letters. And I will include you in a second drawing. And this is for a stack of cards from my stash. Holy mackerel. Okay. Doesn't take much. Linda Offox. So Linda, I have your information. So of course I will get that to you as well. All right. And I know that you are waiting on me to send you an invoice, and I will do that as well when we get done with the live. Okay. All right. And then, of course, if you place an order in my online store that is $35 or more before shipping and tax, and people have asked me, can I do clearance? Can I do those kinds of? Absolutely. Now, paper shares do not fall under that, but anytime you place an order in my online store with your account, not only will you earn host credits, stamping rewards. See, that's a hard habit after 21 years to break. You will earn stamping rewards, but I will also send you a thank you gift, and that is going to be the Charming Shimmer Faceted Dots. So these will go through the month of August. All right. Okay. Enough of all that. Let me put the camera down. So bear with me a second. So I can't see comments anymore. But I promise I will respond. Hello to anyone I haven't said hello to. I think I can see my hands. All right. We are going to be working with the Everyday You and Me, as well as a new bundle that was just released in the July online exclusives that I am loving, loving, loving. We actually used it on the card last week. I'm going to use it again today. It's called Label Me Grateful. I love the sentiments. Number one, I love scripts. You know that. But I also love that in this case, we have two different directions that our sentiments are going. Not only do we have the left to rights, but we have the up and downs, which makes it super, super nice. It has this wonderful label tab that we used last time. And it has all of these extra little bits that you can use to add some other elements to yours. So again, you will find this over in the online exclusives, and it's called Label Me Grateful. Okay. Now we are going to pair that up with the Designer Series paper that matches the Everyday You and Me. It's one of my favorite papers, you can tell, because I've got it all cut into pieces here. This happens to not be on the last chance list. Unlike the sticker sheet, the cardstock, etc., that goes with this array of products. So you can still get this. You can still get the dies and the stamp set. Those happen to be at a discount right now, which is nice because they're in the online store. Okay, so let me tell you the pieces that you're going to need. I love this card. I've modified it a little bit to suit me, but it's a great way to be able to use up a lot of your Designer Series paper scraps. So it's a different starting point than you're used to. This is an 11 by 5.5. So normally when we cut an 11-inch piece of paper to make 2 cards, we cut it at 4 1/4. But for this particular design, it's going to be 5.5 by 11, and this is Pretty Peacock. You need 2 pieces of basic white. These are 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. We need that in a second. You need several pieces of Designer Series paper. Now, you can do this without the Designer Series paper, but I just love how it pulls it all together. You need 2 pieces that are 1 1/2 by 5 1/4. You need 2 more pieces, and in this case, I picked a coordinating pattern. These are 1 by 3 3/4. You need 2 of those. And then you need 2 of yet another pattern if you like. I'm using the gingham side of the yellow gold paper. And one of these is 1 3/4 by 2 3/4, and the other one is 1 1/2 by 2 3/4. I'm going to add some of those elements. So I have a piece of smoky slate scrap, and then I have one of the Nested Essentials labels in basic white. And again, like I said, once you see how this comes into play, you can add or take away different elements to it. So I am going to bring in my paper cutter. I love this one for lots of reasons. Number one, I love that it has this extra extended handle that goes all the way out to 17 inches. Okay. And the fact that I have this extra section that is 1 1/2 inches to, in my case, my right, that allows me to manipulate my paper as I go across with it. Okay. So, and I can do that at the top or at the bottom. So I'm going to put my paper up against this different track here, this ridge, and I'll do my scoring this way. Okay, so I'm going to put this in at the 11-inch across the top, and I am going to score this at 1 3/4. So my scoring blade on this particular cutter is the light one. So I've got this at 1 3/4. We're going to score. Okay, and I like to do it several times, especially when I am doing some folding, which we are. Then I have a 3 1/2. A 5 1/4. And then I need to open up my arm. And I'm also going to score at 7. Now I will have all the measurements, all the score marks, and everything up for you shortly, and that of course will be over in the Creative Cove. Okay, I'm going to close this arm, and now we're going to make a couple of cuts. Now, a couple of tricks that I have found when I first learned to make this card is that while I can see my score lines, once I get them onto my scoreboard to do some cutting, I sometimes can't tell where things are. So I am going to go ahead and fold, and I'm going to lightly burnish these just so that I can tell what's what, okay? And I'm just going to score, and like I said, each one. I also find that if I burnish these lightly as I go, once I fold everything down, it kind of lays a little flatter. And of course, make sure you're all lined up as you go. Okay. So I've got my score lines there, okay? So I want to make sure that my larger section is at the bottom, and that's the other reason why I wanted to go ahead and score, okay? So what we're going to do is we are going to take our paper, and we're now going to move our cutting blade up, okay? And we're going to line up the short 5 1/2 inch side. I'm going to line this up at 1 1/4. Okay. I'm going to make sure that I'm nice and tight and straight. Okay. And then I'm going to pick up my blade, and I'm going to come down, making sure I stay in place. Come on, Donna. You'll see what we're going to do here in just a second. Get in there. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to bring my blade down to that first score line. Okay. And I am going to score it, or excuse me, cut all the way down 2 lines. Okay. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to pull and come all the way down to that next score line. Okay, now I'm going to pick this up and move it, and why I like having this section over here is I'm going to do the same thing, only I'm going to line it up at 1 1/4 over here. If your cutter does not have this, you can easily pick this up, flip it over, and do the same thing. But I'm going to put mine over here. I need to make sure I'm at 1 1/4. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to hold it in place while I close it. I'm going to start with my little guideline here on the score line, and I'm going to pull it all the way down to the next score line, okay? And then I end up with something that looks like this, and I apologize for my head being in the camera, okay? So we're going to end up with this. So what we want to do is we have this folded like this, okay? So we kind of have this little W going on. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pop this section up, which is why it is a pop out fun fold. And we're going to fold this down, and it should come right to that next score line. At this point, I find that before I do anything else, if I go ahead and burnish all these lines, and I like to burnish on both the front side and the back side, that when I do this and I put my card together, it lays a lot flatter because I've broke down all those fibers now. You'll find that once you start putting it together, it's not as easy to be able to do that. Okay, so we're going to pop that out. And like I said, we're going to fold in. Okay, so it's going to be just like that. Okay, so here's our starting point. There we go, like that. Okay. So what we're going to do first is we're just going to push that aside. So we got our little pop out here, okay? And hopefully that makes sense what we're doing here. So it's going to end up, when you put it in your envelope, it'll look like that, okay? Makes sense, hopefully? Okay, so we're all burnished. So now we're going to go ahead and do some stamping, and then we'll add our designer series papers. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this label, and I went ahead out of that scrap and I die cut out these 2 branches, okay? And they kind of look like what I'm going to be stamping with. So that's why I kind of pulled those in. Now, I'm pulling the colors directly from the designer series paper. So I'm using Pretty Peacock, Smoky Slate, and then a Lost Lagoon. And I need a piece of grid paper, and I need my mat because a couple of these are photopolymer. Which, are you excited about the upcoming changes? Where very soon we're going to be going to 100% photopolymer. At first, I was like, oh, I don't know. I've always used red rubber until recently, and now you're making me change. But I think it's going to be fine. I really do. I think it's going to be fine. And I'm excited for the new storage. Yes, it's different, but change is good. That's how you progress, right? So I'm anxious to see how it goes. Okay, I'm taking that little leaf from the Everyday You and Me. Now, I want a very light image. This is for the inside of our card, okay? And so I'm going to stamp off, and then I want to put this right here in the center, just like that. So just a little faint image right there, okay? Then I'm also going to do the same thing over here. And I need to decide something. Okay. All right, I'm going to do it this way. And I'm going to do the same thing, but I want to have, I'm going to stamp off. And while I have my smoky slate out, I'm just going to add 2 more kind of in this little, I don't know, let's do it this way. Just a little background. So we've got that. Okay. So light enough that it's there, or dark enough that you can see it, but light enough that it's not going to take away. Okay. Now I'm going to be using, like I said, the stamp set that is Label Me Grateful. And I'm going to use my Lost Lagoon. And on this label, I'm going to stamp So Grateful for That Heart of Yours. I'm going to ink this up. And we'll add that right here in the center, right over those images. Now, I just stamped with red rubber, and I don't really need the matte, but that's okay. It worked fine. And then for my inside, I'm going to do thank you. And the same principle here. I want to put it right over those leaves that I used, okay? Just like that. And then in this pack of paper, there's this little element that looks like these little splatcher spots. So I'm going to add those as an accent in my pretty peacock. And I'm just going to add them over here like this. And then on the same thing over here, I'm just going to put them right up here in the corner, right over those leaves. Okay, so just like that. So that is all the stamping that we're going to do. Maybe. No, you know what? I have one more piece. And I think I'm just going to add the same thing. I'm not going to put any words, but I am going to add some leaves down here. And you'll see why here in a second. So I'm going to stamp off, and I'm just going to do one. And then we'll add this one, and we'll put him right down here like that. I think I might do another one over here. There we go. All right, so that's all we're going to do, stamping-wise. So we'll move our mat, and we've got our pieces. Yes, ma'am, can I help you? You know I can't stamp with you in my lap, okay? You're all right. You're okay. I can't put you up here. You're okay. You want to go upstairs, I know. Okay, so what I'm going to start with is those 2 pieces that were 1 by 3 3/4. Now they're a little bit longer. I'm actually going to put them, this is my inside piece. Caroline, I can't pick you up. I don't know if you can see her feet. She is trying to get me to pick her up because, like I said, she's a diva. She is very much her mama's girl. I know, you're all right. Oops. You can't help me though, okay? Not today. So I'm just going to add that down here on the bottom. Just like that. And then I want to trim this off. I always find that I do better to sometimes make anything that I'm going to add to my inside layer a little bit longer. That way I can just trim off these little bits instead of having white showing on my card. Goodness gracious, why does that want to keep coming with me? Okay, so I'm going to add this right here in this larger panel, right in the center, just like that. Okay. Then I'm going to take those 2 strips, and one is going to go here, and one is going to go, hopefully you can see what I'm doing, and one is going to go over here, like that, okay? This is a great card, like I said, to be able to use up your scraps. I saw someone post today, designer series paper scraps. Do you keep them or do you throw them away? And I was like, oh, you throw them away. No, 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 no. I like to keep them with my actual full sheets of paper because you never know when you need one. And there's so many different ways that you can use your scraps for lots of different things. Okay, so those are going to be on those two panels. And what's going to happen is this is going to come over here like this and fill in. Okay. Now, when you go to do these two pieces, you need to watch because one side is slightly larger than the other. Okay. So this one is going to go there. And you could leave this one off if you wanted. It really depends, and you'll see when I show you a different example. That one's slightly larger. Hopefully my score lines are not wrong, or they're not off. Okay, and then the smaller one is going to go right here. And again, this is going to look like this. So you can kind of see how it shows off all your designer series paper. Okay. So again, I'm going to burnish this just ever so slightly. Okay. So now I'm going to decorate my front here. And this label is actually going to go right like this. Okay. So I want it to line up over here with the edge of the inside piece, okay? So I'm going to put this on dimensionals. So I'm only going to put dimensionals here. Now, I could put them on my actual element, but I find that if I just not necessarily goofed, but I kind of goofed. If I put these here, then when I add my label, I don't have to worry about that I have adhesive where I don't want it, okay? So I've got that there. Now, and what I am going to do, and I might take this one up just because. Come on. I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive here. And I'm just going to tuck this one here. And can I get the other one over here? Yeah. We'll do him like that, I think. Yeah. Actually, I need to bring this one up just a tad. Okay. And then we'll put this one over here because I just wanted to have a little something popping out behind that image. Okay, now I can put my dimensional back, peel off my tops, and then I can add, okay, well that did not do exactly as I wanted, did it? Maybe we will just do one. Or this is a different take on what I did earlier for my other one. So here, we'll do it like this. There we go. That's better. Now, let's put another dimensional down. We will line that up on this side. That's exactly what I wanted. Okay, so now you've got your card, okay? And I've got this extra piece. This is actually going to go onto the back. And that way, you can actually write on here. and it can still be seen. Whoa, did I just lose one? Caroline, let's grab it. All right, let's try this again. There we go. All right. I am a fumble fingers tonight. Okay, there we go. And then I have the Strawberry Slush and Pretty in Pink Gems. But in this pack, there are the clear or white ones up here at the top. So I am going to use those to decorate the rest of my card because it kind of pulls out this goldish color out of the paper. And for the life of me, I cannot remember what that color was. And I was sad that it went away. And now I can't remember what it was called. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I need one more. 5. So Nancy, you can help me remind me what the paper was because I cannot remember for anything. Okay. So we end up with this. And what's fun about it is that because of how the base is, it will sit up for you so they can display it on their desk, on their mantle, wherever they might want to. And then, of course, they have the image on the back where they can write, okay? So that's one. And then another one I did with the same pack of paper, the same stamp set, but in this case, I used the actual label from the bundle. So I didn't need to add any designer series paper because when you look, that label covers that entire image. So that's one less piece of designer series paper that you would need to add. And again, you could leave these, you could stamp these, you could emboss design or cardstock, etc. to put these on. Okay, so 2 different ways to do it. Again, lots of different opportunities, etc. I'm going to stand them back up so you can kind of see how they will sit. All right, so that's your card for tonight. I hope you'll give this a try. Use up your designer series paper. Give it a try, like I said. See what you can come up with. I'm the same. I keep my scrapbook DSP with back. I can see comments now. Put your inside on the back. I did. See, Linda, I did. Wild Wheat. Thank you, Nancy. Gosh. And it was one of my favorite colors. I didn't want to go away. So, again, a fun little fold that you can do and use up that designer series paper. So I'm sorry for the technical issues. Hopefully we're fine now. Give this a try. Let me know if you're interested in coming to Creative Escape. Like I said, I do have some spots available. If you haven't had a chance to come to Roseland Hill Winery, you need to come and try it. It is wonderful. The wine is amazing, amazing. Amazing, amazing. So you'll have to come and try it out. And then, of course, we are doing our next Stamp-A-Stack for Christmas cards. And we're doing them August, September, October, and November. Okay? And they're all different each time. So it's a great way for you to get a head start on your Christmas cards. And if you don't need that many, you can carry them over and have a head start on 2026. So everyone have a great rest of your week. Enjoy this wonderful weather. Happy Labor Day to everyone. And I will see you back on Tuesday at 8:30. Thanks so much, everyone. Bye-bye.